When I bought my farm in California, everybody thought I was crazy, and then COVID hit. And now I'm out here and I'm in Africa and I'm farming and I'm living and I'm growing businesses, and people probably think I'm crazy, but I guarantee you guys, this is the most beautiful, and quite frankly, it's the best decision I've made. I'm a pioneer. This is what I do. I'm here. I'm loving it. And just keep watching.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. Pan-Africanism Under Elite Capture by Naila Aroni. Recent celebrity investments in the continent raises the question, who is it really for? Little Wretched of the Earth reference here. I'll put the link in the show description for anyone, again, obviously, to give it a more full and close read. But there's a long-standing legacy of celebrity being used as soft power in cultural warfare to sanitize and exploit Africa, ultimately manipulating the post-colonial divide, as noted by author Francis Stoner Saunders. In the Cultural Cold War, the U.S. government recognized the role of music and the arts as a covert strategy to win hearts and minds, resulting in, again, the Cultural Cold War. The article talks about the role that Ghana's Year of Return in 2019 continues to play in bringing Black America and particularly celebrities over there, welcoming high-profile celebrities like Chance the Rapper and Meek Mill, which is, I don't know how we assess their high-profile celebrity these days, but as unofficial ambassadors promoting experience-based tourism. And folks, remember, we in many ways, just to connect to the series that I've been doing over on Black Liberation Media, 100 Years of Malcolm X, in creating this tourism effect with particularly with African America and the continent is Alex Haley and Roots. Let's concoct this story and create a business. Naomi Campbell has been used, who is frequently associated with infamously corrupt members of the global elite, such as Jeffrey Epstein. Not Naomi. And Charles Taylor, not Naomi, was controversially appointed Kenya's tourism ambassador. Idris Elba, advocated for building Africa's film industry, was allegedly awarded over 80 acres of land in Zanzibar by the Tanzanian government to construct modern film studios during a political context where political freedom is critically absent for Tanzanians, especially those arrested on petty pretenses such as using strong words when simply criticizing President Suluhu Hassan. Wow, Zanzibar is beautiful. I did get to pass through there once upon a time. 80 acres of land. And again, remember, I got that ambiguous Arab pass. I got the local fare. I got the local cost fare to get over there. Wow. Moreover, John Legend also chose to perform at the Global Citizen Festival in Kigali, despite the Rwandan government's involvement in the M23 rebel takeover in Congo. In defense of his decision, Legend said the following: I don't believe that we should punish the people of Rwanda and punish the people of other countries when we disagree with their leaders. I know John Legend has a lot of fans. He's a talented dude, but it is kind of weird to think of I think it must be kind of weird to think of somehow your absence as punishment. Disappointment, maybe, but punishment? While it's certainly true that not all Rwandans support their government's political choices, cultural boycotts have proven to be highly significant in holding oppressive regimes accountable, such as the boycott that led the apartheid South African government's exclusion from the Olympics. Not Kelis is the latest celebrity to venture into East Africa, purportedly under the guise of sustainability. She often markets her videos on her Instagram account through short-form reels wearing no makeup and casual clothing, coupled by hashtags like support Black farmers, farm life, the girl next door, pioneer, original farm owner. But amongst her detractors, she's quickly being labeled a neo-colonizer as a new ambassador, tourism ambassador for Kenya. The exact whereabouts of her farm are unknown, but she's likely in an area originally habited by the Maasai that became a significant area for colonial development in the 19th century. At present, the remnants of settler colonialism persist, as the area is now characterized by vast floriculture farms owned by white settlers. But Kelis is in the neighborhood, and we know how that works. Maybe she's on a mission. And because Kelis, listen, everybody, we need to recognize what she's doing. She is demonstrating she's going to ungentrify this white settler colonial spot in Kenya, because we all know how it works. As soon as the black family shows up, she's going to create white settler colonial flight, the likes we have never seen. Regardless of whether the land was legally available, the concern remains that these celebrity acquisitions reinforce existing patterns of wealth accumulation and land concentration. New wave gentrifiers, or new wave of gentrifiers. How sustainable is Kelis's new business venture when this land and resources could be maximized to achieve food security in a nation where more than 13 million lack secure access to food? That is just, this is crazy. Beyond material consequences, these celebrities also aid African governments to craft a progressive aspirational image that conceals deep-seated class inequalities and the dire material conditions of ordinary Africans. Here we go. African nations become idyllic homelands, fertile lands of possibility, sanctuaries from the racial injustices of the West, and places where lost ancestral connections can be miraculously restored. Rwanda, it feels like a utopia, like Wakanda, truly stunning, so lush and beautiful. The people here, said Kelis in the caption of one of her other Instagram reels, captured on a hill overlooking vast farmland. Wakanda, wow.
Oh, hi. Hi. It's incredible. There are kids everywhere doing all kinds of stuff. They're helping, they're carrying stuff. I love how people take care of their land here and their home. And it's so safe because you see like little tiny babies just walking in the street. I think about my 3-year-old and I'm like, I feel like I'd lose her. These kids are amazing. The community is safe. It takes a village. I feel like they really do that here. It's incredible. I love Rwanda.
The reel feels reminiscent of a scene from a modern Out of Africa remake, bringing to mind Black feminist historian Jade Bentil's coinage Wakandification, to capture the process through which Africa as a product is reimagined to serve the interests of representation, nation, and capital. Now, again, I'm not trying to stay, this was not done intentionally, to keep coming back to it. But remember where Wakandification ends up coming from and how it got presented at this mass universal scale. Your boy Ryan Coogler of Sinners fame, or refame. Even at the height of the pan-Africanist movement, however, there were noted tensions between these expats, indigenous Africans, as noted Sadia Hartman's Lose Your Mother, where she notes how Ghanaians resented expats for occupying land and presuming to know what is best for Africa. And I know how some people feel about Sadia Hartman. I'm not trying to start it up again. Just reading through this article. But as I sort of pointed out even earlier, like I just learned the other day, the breakup of Sam Cornish and John Russworm of the Freedom's Journal was over the repatriation issue. Oh, it's just one U.S. citizen who has lived in Kenya since 2008. Sorry, petitioned for recognition as a Kenyan citizen. And though most Black Americans go back to Ghana or West Africa, because Kenya has the Abuja Proclamation, a Pan-African declaration sponsored by the African Union in 1993, which calls African states to grant entrance as of right to all persons of African descent and right to obtain residence in those African states if there is no disqualifying element on Africans claiming the right to return to his ancestral home. I'm sure this has not been used and is being demonstrated in this article, used in the way that we would want, but I think underlying that idea, I appreciate that sentiment. African nations such as Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda, where tourism is central to GDP, are likely to begin marketing themselves as relocation destinations for the Black diaspora or the Black bourgeoisie. Given the circumstances, it is easy to direct anger towards the incoming communities of Black expats who seem to be reaping the benefits of this current incentivized hierarchy. The real culprits remain African political and economic elite and the Western powers, former colonizers, and financial institutions who shape their self-interest and continue to amass capital at the expense of genuine racial solidarity, distorting radical unifying principles through the sanitizing process of elite capture.
Now listen, that's called my boy. You know nothing about that.
Oh, right. Shout out No Names Book Club, which looks to build community through political education, providing a model for ethical engagement. True Pan-Africanism must be built on mutual solidarity, land equity, and economic justice, not elite-driven spectacles that serve the privileged few.
Message.
It's incredible. I love Rhonda.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.